Hey everyone, my name is Neil Karski and I'm the CEO of Patient Engine, a seven-figure digital marketing, lead conversion, and coaching agency for high-ticket aesthetics providers. And I would like to personally welcome you to the Aesthetics Millionaires Show, where we sit down with industry entrepreneurs to talk about their personal journeys and discuss proven growth strategies. My genuine hope is that through this podcast, we can create more success stories in this industry and help more business owners scale past their competition. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Aesthetics Millionaires Show podcast. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Amanda May. Amanda is a VP of branding at Genesis Lifestyle Medicine Group, and she is also involved in a lot of different ventures. She doesn't even know how many. So we're going to get into this today and dive into this and roll it out for everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, Amanda. I really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
What's going on in your world this week?
This is a week where I am focused on our go-to-market strategy for a new product launch we have coming Q3 for a skincare brand, Q4 for a skincare brand that we're launching. So I'm deep in that, making sure everything is buttoned up so that our lawyers can take a look at the site and all the claims and everything that we have. So that's what I'm working on this week.
Wow. Legal and compliance. I love that world.
Yeah. We deal a lot with the FDA. So, yep, I have a lot of meetings with the FDA lawyers, making sure everything that we do is exactly as it should be done.
Gotcha. Okay, how did you get into the world of aesthetics, Amanda? You're the skin beauty boss, so tell us more.
I started 23 years ago as an esthetician. And this is a great question to start with because this is the heart of what my passion has been for the last 23 years. I was working at a hardware store in a very small town in Ohio, and I was working the register.
What were you doing there?
I was working the register. My father had passed away, so I moved to this really small town, and I was still in high school. So it was just, a normal job. And I had this guy that came in, and he looked kind of homeless, but he would come in and get odds and ends, usually on a daily basis. And he said to me one day, "What do you want to do? I know you don't want to work at a hardware store forever." And I was like, I don't really know, but I love beauty. And he was like, "Well, why don't you think about that and let me know the next time you come in, or the next time I come in." I was like, "Okay, I will. I'll think about that." And it really got me thinking, like, what is next for my life? What am I going to create? What do I love? And what do I really want to do for the rest of my life? And he came back in, and I said, "I want to go to beauty school." And he said, "Well, do you know how much it is? What school do you want to go to?" And he was just really good at asking me these questions that I had never been asked before. So I found out. I told him the next time he came in, "I'm going to go to this school, and this is what I'm going to start, and this is how much it costs." But these questions got the ball rolling for me to make a decision and pick a path for my life. And Christmas time comes around. This is end of year when he first started asking me these questions. And Christmas time rolls around. I show up at work, and there's a card on my register with a check made out to the beauty school for the amount of money for me to go to school. And it was such a transformational experience that somebody would, from a genuine, integrous, loving place shortly after I lost my father, to do something so selfless. And I remember emailing him, we actually mailed, we would send letters back and forth. And I let him know I went to school, I completed it. I had a son. I had gotten pregnant while I was in school, so I had a little boy. So I let him know about that and just how grateful I was. And the response that I got was, just make sure you do this for somebody else. And my whole life, I've felt like, what am I going to do to give back in this industry? And for women that are wanting to start a career, be it in beauty or something else, of course, that's my expertise, but beauty, business, anything as far as leadership, development, what can I do to help the next woman? And so my whole path has been that. I've had training programs, I've had mentorships, I've ran masterminds, and I see Genesis as a way that I do that in the health and wellness space. We have predominantly women that work for our company and hundreds of them. And so cheering them on, giving them tools for leadership and being there to help support their journey to success, whatever that looks like for themselves, be it being the best provider they can be, being an incredible injector, moving up into leadership, into a clinic director position or a regional director position. Where's my path with them to help them get to the next level? So I've really embodied this, I guess, this directive from him as far as what I was going to do with my life. And yeah, so that's how I got into it. That's why I've stayed into it. That's why I love it. And everything I do, when it comes to beauty, wellness, business, that's my I would say, reference point. Is it going to help someone? How do we help someone? How do we help the client? That's another level. The people that we have working within our company is one thing, but then it's also, how are we changing the lives of the people that come into our clinics or use our products? Like that matters more than the money. Although I want to make money and I like money and I want to make a lot of it, because that's also, there's other ways to help people when you've got resources. So yeah, it's just, my passion is helping women, as you can tell, as I've rambled for the last 6 minutes about this question.
No, I love that act of kindness kind of, sparked a lot of purpose and mission within you, and then it kind of propelled you on your journey. So we skipped a lot of stuff right now, obviously, from that moment to where you're at in your career today. Let's talk about your start in aesthetics. What did you learn? What is your skill set? Like, I'll give you an example. I talked to you, my last interview was with a lady she was an esthetician herself, and she got really good at sales and marketing. So she took that with her and grew her med spa to 7 figures. And she's got big plans from there. But how did you, let's talk about your journey in aesthetics as an esthetician. And then what happened after that? How did you kind of climb through the ranks and get all the experience? Let's highlight some of the major experiences you've had in your development.
Absolutely. You said the key word there, which is journey. It doesn't happen overnight. I think I wanted it to happen very quickly when I was young. When I first started out, it was like, how fast can I make the next thing happen? And it just doesn't work that way. I was somebody who always wanted to say yes. So I thought, if I don't know how to do something, I'll figure it out later. So I went to beauty school, got my license in aesthetics, and I met a really amazing woman. She was the first person I ever worked with. She had a 2-room spa. Well, she had a 4-room spa, but 2 rooms were being used and she had 2 rooms available. And she said, why don't you come in, shadow me, I'll help you. She had been doing skin for a very long time. And she was the first person that I felt like really wanted to see me grow in aesthetics. And as much as I love the spa, I was really drawn to the creative side of makeup. And I love skincare because I think great makeup starts with great skin, and that goes even deeper because you have to be healthy. I think the healthier you are, the healthier your skin looks, and then the makeup looks even better. So I really started pushing into the makeup side, the creative side of skin and the overall aesthetic appearance. And I'll fast forward a little bit because from her working at that location, I met a girl that had come in to get some services, and she lived in Las Vegas. And I just remember her being so bright and beautiful and vibrant. Like her energy was so amazing. I was like, you do not live in Ohio. Where are you from? There's no way you're from Ohio. She's like, I live in Las Vegas. If you want to come out and stay with me for a couple days, I'll show you around. And I was like, yes, I want to do that. So that was one of the first times I was like, yes, I want to see what else is out there. So I went, I stayed with her. She showed me around. I absolutely was like blown away by what the city had to offer. And within 6 months had moved from Ohio to Vegas to start over. And from there, I got a job at the Wynn, working in their spa. And then from there, I decided I was going to apply to be a manager at Caesar's Palace. Now, mind you, I had never a manager in their salon. I had never worked in corporate, but I was like, I know I can figure this out. So I'm just going to try. You have not because you ask not. So I'm going to see if I can get this job. So I applied and I got it. And I was like, now what? And I remember sitting in those meetings with the president of Caesars Entertainment. And I mean, just these massive people within the company. And I thought, I have so much to learn. And I just kept quiet and I took a ton of notes, and I would go back after my meetings and I would Google, what is a P&L? I had no idea what a P&L was, but I figured it out, and I studied, and I took every step of that position as almost like getting paid to go to college, just live, real time. So I worked with Caesars Entertainment for 8 months. And then I was like, I really want to start my own brand. I knew a woman that was going out to LA a lot and doing like these gifting suites. And I was like, I want to take the money that I'm making and invest in myself in a way that I can grow something over time. So I left Caesars to invest all the money I had in my own brand. And I absolutely loved it. I mean, that was like, I was so jazzed. And from there, I was asked to.
What was the brand, and what did the brand do or sell?
So the first product I ever designed was a concealer, corrector, and primer. I actually have it. I still sell it. It's a really.
What's the brand called?
It's called Divine.
Okay.
So when I first launched the line.
Does it still exist?
It does. Yeah. Yeah. I'll show you. So it's a concealer, corrector, and primer. It does like 11 things.
Let's get a plug-in. Where do you sell it?
Well, it's $29. It lasts like about a year, so it's a very good investment. I sell it on my website, amandamaybeauty.com. But this Shape Magazine voted it the Try It Product of the Year. Like, it was in all the gifting suites. It was really fun. I had no idea how to leverage that. So it was good. I had a lot of sales from those things, but I didn't know how to keep the ball rolling. But that kind of came over time. So this product.
Can we stop for a second?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I wanna go back through your. I know that we only have a finite amount of time, and so I know you're going back through because you have a lot of stuff in your story, a lot of chapters. What did you some key lessons from being an esthetician? Just to give me a couple key lessons from working in a corporate setting, in this corporate spa setting as well. I know you obviously learned a lot, and you took the initiative to learn on your own, which was great. So you were very proactive, and you wanted to learn, and you wanted to be impactful, even though you didn't have the right knowledge and experience at the time. But just give me a couple lessons from each one of these experiences that allowed you to elevate who you are.
From the skincare side, I found that my niche was about helping women feel naturally beautiful, like they didn't need to change anything, that if they just had the right products or if they knew how to care for themselves and their skin, that they could do a lot less, that they didn't need some miracle product to like change what they look like, but that they could step into their true beauty with who they are from the inside out. And sitting with clients hour after hour where you're intimately touching their face, rubbing their face, they say a lot. Women's self-worth was an area that I felt like in beauty gets a little bit sticky because women sometimes are searching for some sort of sense of self or beauty from the external. So being able to be that voice of who are you and are you a beautiful person, because that makes a difference in how you look to the world, like really bridging beauty inside and outside. And so that was a big lesson for me, was like, don't jump on all the trends because it sounds good or it's fancy marketing, but stick with the key things that work in regards to beauty and tools and tips that you can give women, because those are the things that are going to be timeless. Those are going to be the things that last them forever, that they know, like, you got to wash your makeup off at night. That's good skincare. You know, like these simple things that I think the industry makes it very difficult for no reason. Well, the reason being is to sell more product, but it's unnecessary. And that was one of the things I learned in aesthetics, was these highly marketed, new, trendy services are not worth jumping on unless they've had some solid research backing and you know for sure it's going to get your clients the results and it's not just marketing hype. So that's from the skincare side.
But perception is reality, Amanda.
Perception is reality. Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm a marketing guy, right? So you
Yeah.
kind of, it's a, you know, unfortunately, I definitely feel like having ethics and integrity in marketing is important, at least for me. But man, it's a wild west out there right now, right? With marketing, so it's kind of crazy.
Well, marketing is necessary. I'm a big fan of marketing. I love what you do. Just so we're clear on that, I think what you offer people is essential to their business, and most people don't know that they need it until, you know, they're really, it's a little late.
Until they need it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of marketing. I don't sit well with trendy marketing schemes when it comes to any industry. Let me give you an example, which we'll get into. I was the national trainer for Ulta Beauty, and I sold beauty products on HSN. So those were two aspects of my career. And one of the things that happened in both of those situations was they wanted brands to be launching new products every 6 weeks because they had to have something fresh that they could sell people. So it was every 6 weeks. It was like, hey, we have this new version of the same product that we have other products just like it, you know, but we have this new version. It's a 2.0. So now you need it instead. That I don't like. And that happens a lot in skincare. So with the line that I'm launching, what we've done is take the key aspects of the desires a woman has for the health of her skin, minimize how many products she needs to buy to accomplish those things, and power pack our clinicals. In one product, you're going to get 5 things that another brand might do. Because there's no reason these ingredients, for stability reasons, if there was some reason why you couldn't combine ingredients, certainly we would pay attention to that. But for the most part, ingredients can be combined to give women more for what they're purchasing. But companies don't make the money that way. They make more money when you can separate each key ingredient into a different product and sell the same person 5 things, convincing them that they need 5 different items versus selling them one thing that does all 5.
You can't be talking like this because you're, you know, hopefully no cosmetic companies are going to be watching this podcast because you're going to be pissed off because
That's okay.
you're uncovering all their secrets here.
Yeah.
We want to sell as much to every customer as possible. It's just that there's a line, there's an ethical line somewhere where it's like, do we have their best interests at heart, or we just want to sell them all the shit, right? So it's, I do think that the best way to sell is to sell the best plan that's going to get the client the best results authentically, which tends to be, a higher ticket item or higher ticket plan, whatever. That's how I coach people. So it's not like, hey, I just want to push all this stuff on them. It's like, I genuinely think this is what you truly need to accomplish your results, right? But like you said, the dark side of marketing can be like, hey, you really absolutely need this, and that, because these are all these different areas. So I'm glad you pointed this out. It's very interesting to hear. So let's kind of keep going in your journey because I think it's super interesting. So you were an esthetician. You worked front desk at a hardware store, which is another, I'm sure you learned other skill sets there. So, and then you became an esthetician. You worked in a corporate setting. You started your own skincare brand. Let's talk about that a little bit, and then what else happened? And when is this all happening? Can you give us like a general timeline? You're probably 27 right now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm 27 right now. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. Fun little fact that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. My son, I had when I was 19. He is now 21. Now it would be almost 2.5 years ago. I had a surprise little girl that decided she was going to show up. So 20 years between children. I had my first when I was 19 and my second when I was 39. So I'm 41 now, and I get to do the mom thing all over again, which is a very different journey this time around. But yeah, so I'm definitely not 27, although I do kind of feel like, I probably feel better now than I did when I was 27. So, but, if I can keep looking like I'm 27, that'd be great. So to go back to your question, when I started the Caesars position and I moved to Vegas, my son was 2. So I was about 21 when I moved to Vegas. I would say probably around 23 when I got hired into Caesars. And my makeup line, which was, I had a lot of stuff at first. I didn't understand that, it would be better to start with less. So I spent a lot of money on a lot of things and then realized I had a few items that everybody loved. So I dialed back a little bit, honed in, started selling just the key things. And now all these years later, that was 2007. So I was probably around 26-ish when all of that was happening. So I've been on a fast track. I was like, I'm going to be successful. I remember thinking I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. That was my goal. Yeah. So I did whatever I could to get there. So.
Okay. So you had a skincare brand. How did you get over to Genesis? And then let's talk about some of your other ventures as well.
Yeah. So I ended up, and I'll kind of fill in the gaps here of the last 10 years or so. because of my line, it opened up doors for me to run New York Fashion Week and Miami Fashion Week. So out of 16 shows in Miami, my teams would be over 9 or 10 of them. And that I got to work with brands like Sports Illustrated. It was very, very cool. That opened up doors for me to be asked to be a representative for another brand on HSN. So I got the live TV experience. So I got to do that, which was really awesome. Loved it. And if I could sell on TV for the rest of my life, I would do that because I clearly like to talk. And I feel like I could sell anything I really believe in. So Lori Greener from QVC is like my favorite.
How did you learn how to sell?
I don't think you learn. Well, I think you can learn how to sell. For me, I speak from my heart. I don't have to sell something that I feel passionate about. I have influence. When I really believe in something, I don't have to sell you it. I have a way of influencing people's buying decisions because the passion and my belief in it comes through when I'm talking about the product or the service, because it's the same in our clinics. When I'm dealing with our teams, it's like you really have to believe that what we are offering is going to help the client in front of you if you want them to believe that what we have is going to help them. So that's a big factor. And part of how we make sure people really feel that within our organization is providing a ton of social proof. You know, when somebody comes in and onboards with us, it's here's the reviews. We have thousands of 5-star reviews. Here's what people are saying. Here's the feedback we're getting from the people that have had success. Here's before and after photos. This is what somebody's journey has looked like. And then when you really get them to drop from the head to the heart, it's not about the money. It's about the heart of what we're doing and what we can provide. Like what you said, it's giving somebody the package that's going to get them to the result in the fastest, best way possible. And when we deal with sexual wellness, for example, I have sat with women that their relationships are not doing well. Like their marriages are not good because there's an intimacy that's missing. When we sit with them, give them a treatment plan to change all of that. And they come back and they talk about how happy they are and how their families have been impacted because their marriages are better. These are kids now that are in a home where a husband and a wife are connecting again. There's intimacy, there's love, which is what everybody in this world wants, is love and connection. And you're creating restoration within families. It's not about sexual wellness. It is about what happens, what's the result on the other end of that. So when we go deeper in our corporate meetings about the transformation, yes, it's easy to say, look at this before and after. But what does it actually mean? Let's go deeper. Let's take a second and connect with the actual changes that that person has experienced in their life because they use our services. That's where we make a difference. And that's where I feel like you don't have to sell. Because you share those stories and people go, yeah, I want that. I want restoration in my home.
You have to sell. You have to sell. You have to sell. Because if you can't sell them, you can't help them.
Yes.
The way I appreciate the way you describe things because there's this stigma about the word sales. But I'm sorry. This is going to sound very, very not insensitive, but I'm not. I promise you I'm not. Like, who cares? Because if you're not selling, you can't help people. I'd say this on every show. I'm like, if you can't sell them, you can't help them. Unfortunately, people need that influence. They need that push, right? They need that push. They need to be put out of their comfort because they're coming there for change. clearly they're coming there for change, right? It's not just like there's a reason, there's a deeper reason, right? Maybe the front end reason is a good offer, like what I do for marketing. Maybe it's hey, I saw you there, or it looked interesting. But the real reason is because they want change, right? And so the way you sell, the how, and the motive, and the person selling, those are some of those factors that really affect the outcomes, right? So I really like the way you put it, but
It's still selling. It just feels different, I guess. It feels a little different than somebody feeling like I have to come sell you on something. There is a transaction that happens. There is still a sales process. But
told me I forgot who is saying this, but it's like we're always selling, right? In a sense, because we are ultimately we're presenting a viewpoint or an idea that's like that we want to, like, there's a reason we say things, right? They call it, there's a message we're trying to put out there. So we're always selling. It's like we're selling to our teams, right? You have a lot of people who work for you. We're selling to our clients. We're selling to even our family members and friends. We're selling ideas. My friends really, they hate receiving phone calls from me because it's usually like, hey, let's go somewhere, like, and we're gonna have to spend money, and it's gonna be an amazing experience. I don't even know how to complain, right? But like, so they don't even want to pick up the phone sometimes.
I love it. So where are you selling them ongoing? I want to know this.
Oh my God. So many different places. Like it was like, I was in Europe for 5 weeks, right? So it was Europe for one of my friends, and there's Mexico here, there's a international trip here, there's a festival here, there is a nature expedition here. So there's a lot of different things. I'm always selling these crazy ideas because I believe in enhancing people's lives.
I love it.
Cool. If any of my friends watch this, they're gonna be like, "Fuck, this is spot on." Okay, so man, so how early on were you involved with? Is it Alex? What is the gentleman's name? Alex Spinoza, I think is his name. I saw a couple of his reels. He seems like a super cool guy. How early on were you involved with Genesis? And tell me, is Genesis a franchise model or a corporate-owned model?
Corporate-owned. And so when I met Alex, they had 4 locations. So right now we're at 40. So I've been with them for a very long time. But they also grew very fast. It's been about 5 years since I came on board with them. And to set the stage, I had built a very strong network in Las Vegas and was doing permanent makeup, advanced skincare techniques or skincare and advanced stuff. And I had a very heavy training clientele. So I would have students come in and train with me, and I would mentor them for about 6 months. So that's what I was doing. And then when he and I met, their 2 locations in Las Vegas were only open half of the week. So one of their locations was open Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The other one was open Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we said, hey, let's do this together. Let's start. I'll bring my clientele in. You have your clientele. We'll work together to build this. Genesis will have a beauty aspect to it, and we will build this together. What we discovered is after 2 years of scaling, I couldn't scale as quickly as they could because the things that they were doing was more health and wellness related. It didn't take a high level of artistic ability where permanent makeup does. And I had a cap on how many students I could bring through the program at one time because there was a lot of hands-on that was needed. So I did hire somebody that helped me scale a little bit, but Genesis was on a rapid path forward. And I knew if I continued doing what I was doing within it, that they would eventually keep going and I would be stuck at a certain point. There would be a ceiling on what I could do as far as scaling with them. So we sat down and it was a tough conversation. And it was like, what do I want overall? I knew I could help them from the business side where they needed a foundation, like onboarding systems, training, all the things that I was really good at from like the training aspect and customer relation or employee relationship stuff. They needed all of that because they were growing so quickly. And Alex was in a lot of the clinics. He was overseeing as the medical director. He was overseeing the clinics as they were growing. So there was only so much that they were able to put in place as quickly as they were growing. And I saw those gaps. And so I made the tough decision to keep the client base that I had with the girl that was working for me in Las Vegas. But then Alex and I focused solely on growing Genesis. So I stopped pushing all of the training services that I was doing, all the permanent makeup stuff, advanced skincare, all that stuff. I left all of that in Vegas and we both moved to Texas. He and his wife and their kids moved to Texas first. I came shortly after. And I've been now just on the corporate team. There's only 4 of us on the corporate team. It's Brent Messer is his business partner. Alex is the doctor. Brent does our marketing, oversees our marketing. There's Alex, who oversees more operations and kind of culture, I would say. I oversee a lot. Well, it's changed over the years because the need has changed. I oversaw kind of putting in the foundational stuff, the HR, paperwork, processes, systems, organizing all of the SOPs, making sure our training platforms were ready for all of our new hires, things like that. And then we hired somebody Sean, he's our 4th person. He came from Amazon. So we hired him to handle a lot of the things I was doing so that I could focus on making sure our brand development stayed on point through the marketing, social media, our in-clinic experience, making sure all of that stayed cohesive as we continued to scale. So that's how I kind of moved into the branding side, the brand development portion of what I'm doing now.
And what else are you doing? Because that's really learning some
well, as a part of the ecosystem, one of the things that we learned quickly is that cost of goods is the most expensive thing within the clinic. And so if we could reduce cost of goods, we could obviously increase our profit. And one of the ways that they vertically integrated was Alex and Brent bought 2 pharmacies. So now they own 2 pharmacies where we supply our locations from our pharmacies. So we were able to reduce cost of goods. Then the next thing was PRP, the PRP tubes, because we do a lot of sexual wellness, aesthetics, joint injections, hair restoration. So we do a lot of PRP at our clinics. So that was the next area that we could significantly reduce the cost of goods. So we started I say we because that is something I run. They started a PRP company, and that's called Life PRP. The point of that company was really just to supply our own clinics. However, we've just now started opening up so that we could provide to other clinics that same cost savings that we experienced. Because Alex has started a mastermind. So we have a lot of clinics surrounding us that are looking for support. And one of the big things that we talk about is cost of goods. So we're able to significantly reduce cost of goods for other clinics by offering some of the services that we have. The pharmacies, also Life PRP. Yeah. So I run
just for
Life
PRP or other things?
I'm sorry?
Is it just for PRP or is it other peptides, medicines, other consumables?
Well, the pharmacies are all types of medications and peptides. And then the PRP company is strictly PRP tubes and centrifuge.
So you're doing like you're accumulating and leveraging the buying power of all those clinics, your clinics, and then the mastermind clinics to negotiate lower pricing, volume discounts.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just a little plug for the mastermind and Life PRP. You want to talk about that for a second, just for people to, if they wanted to find it or join or potentially utilize your program for lowering their pricing?
Yeah, for sure. The Life PRP is lifeprp.com. Super simple, super easy to remember. And our tubes are typically around 40% lower in cost than what the other big brands are offering tubes for. And that's pretty straightforward. If somebody buys 3 boxes, which is a good starting place, we give them a free centrifuge with their first order. And then we get them on, depending on what they're offering in their clinics, we get them on a regular program to make sure we can supply their PRP tubes. If it's monthly, quarterly, just depends on what the need is there. And then we have the mastermind, which is the guy that Alex started the mastermind with, Vaughn. He's actually my life and business coach. So I've worked directly with him. He's fantastic. Has helped me so much create clarity around staying true to my message and some of the things that I still feel very passionate about, even though I'm in an executive role within another company, which is a nice balance because, I can go super heavy business, but there's still some things that speak to my heart that I want to share with the world. So he's helped me with that. So him and Alex started the mastermind called Charismatics, and it's joincharismatics.com. You can find it on Dr. Alex Spinoso's website, so dralexspinoso.com. And they actually have a free event coming up for med spa owners, business owners in this space, and that's in November. It's going to be in Dallas, and it's called the Conclave. So that's a free event. So that one will be really cool too. You can find information on Dr. Alex's website there.
I want to come out to that event as well.
You should. Yeah, you should. That would be awesome. I would love to have you.
I'm a med spa owner too, so I need to go and learn too myself.
Yeah, you should. That would be fantastic.
The Charismatics is the mastermind.
It is. Yeah.
And that's for like aesthetics, med spas, wellness type business owners, correct?
Yeah. Yep. And he is very cool. He's very, I would say, chill. He's intense, but he's chill. He's intense in the fact that he's got all this energy, but he's just cool and chill. So he's he kind of, with a great deal of respect, I say he and I have a relationship where he kind of feels like a big brother sometimes. He'll pick on me, like my brother would pick on me. And it's fun. It's very lighthearted. And he's got, fun fact about him, he's got triplets. And then he has now another daughter too. So he's got 3 little firehouses running around all the time, and they're the cutest. His wife is a saint. She's absolutely beautiful inside and out. So they're just a fun family. They're a really fun family. And you can hear a lot more about that because he and I have a podcast together called the Spinoso Podcast. We've done about 250 episodes now. So it's been a couple years that we've been pumping out podcasts. And it's just him and I. Every once in a while we'll have a guest. But yeah, that's a fun way to hear more personal details about him or I or our journey.
Very cool. So as far as, scaling multiple locations, what are some of those lessons? I know, obviously, if you want to go really fast, having capital is absolutely critical to open multiple corporate-owned locations. Like I have 3 that I self-funded myself. They're very small and lean. to be able to open 40 locations with device. I mean, you can go to your website. I mean, to Genesis website. I mean, there's a lot of things that you guys provide, right? So that's a lot of capital expenditures, right? And even if you're able to leverage buying power or volume discounts, but that's a lot of capital. But like, just some general lessons potentially, and I'm sure Alex would probably have a lot to contribute to this as well, but just some general maybe lessons or things or insights you want to highlight as you kind of scale. I know the big advice I always give to my clients, I've worked with franchises, I've worked with clients who have one location, I've worked with clients who have a few. And the big thing I always say, hey, like, listen, just make sure, one, you have really a healthy year where you can see seasonalities and where you can understand your P&L really well and be truly profitable. And then make sure like that location can kind of run smoothly without you before you go and start scaling. So that's like a micro picture, but any other insights or lessons for people, I'm sure you've seen it go from 4 to 40. So like that you can put out there to folks who are maybe looking to grow their businesses and open multiple locations.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been along this journey, so I've seen what's worked and what hasn't worked. And you are doing it right. You are keeping it lean, which is key. People go too big too fast, and then they have to scale back or they lose everything. So the strategy you're currently using is a good one. Keeping everything lean, starting small, and self-funding. So interesting to know, they actually self-funded this entire corporation. There's not been any other big money that's come in that's allowed for it to grow this fast. They did exactly what you're saying. So bootstrap, self-funded, one paid for the next, which paid for the next, which meant that for many years, there was no paychecks coming. They had other businesses that were paying them. So they used profits to open the next and then open the next. And one of the key things that I hear him talk, obviously I've spent countless hours talking to him on the podcast. And so I've heard a lot of this stuff many, many times. But one of the key things that he talks about working well and then something that didn't work well, so that the listener can take one of each. Something that worked well was opening 2 locations simultaneously in the same city and having them open opposite days. So you're sharing your staff between 2 locations. Half of the week they're in one location, half of the week they're in the other location. And what that allows for is you to keep your payroll at a minimum while you are building the marketing and awareness that, one, you're there, that your services work, and the training that's needed to get those employees up to speed to where you want them to be. It's all streamlined. So you're managing half the people than if you had 2 full staffs. You're also not increasing your payroll expenses by double. You're keeping your payroll expenses low. So that's something that's worked well. To this day, we still do that in a lot of the cities. So in Dallas, we have a Dallas and a Frisco location. That staff goes back and forth between the 2 locations. Then we have Grapevine and Fort Worth, and that staff goes back and forth between the 2 locations. So that model works very well. The thing that didn't work well is spreading out into different cities too quickly. Really mastering a market is where I've heard him say he would do it different. Where instead of having 1 or 2 locations in a market, expanding more like what we did in Dallas, where there's 4. And then you can go maybe outside of Dallas and you could go maybe Austin and open a few more. We have a few locations on the outskirts of Dallas as well. So it allows you to optimize on your marketing spend, but it also allows you to learn the demographic. What's the What geo-targeting do you need to use? Like, you get to learn how to leverage your marketing dollars differently if you stay in the same market longer. And then making sure you're maxing out your schedules. So when you're in the market, getting as much as you can in a day versus trying to spread it out. People try to do too much too fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is your, how much do you love paid ads, Amanda?
We actually use a lot. We actually do paid ads. We do. So we have different marketing plans for each area of the country because certain things work in some places that other things just do not. But we do paid ads. So yeah, and on all levels, on all the businesses. We have paid ads in Life PRP. We have paid ads in Genesis. We have paid ads for Charismatics. So we like paid ads.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have to. Are you guys like aggressive with spending? Like, what is your strategy?
Yeah, so on the marketing side, I don't want to pretend like I know something I don't know. I've been on the calls. I have taken marketing classes, so I'm not totally ignorant when they're having conversations. I actually did Ezra Firestone's Smart Marketer courses because I was like, I got to figure it. I don't even know what these terms mean, so I need to learn this. So I took some courses so that I could be involved in the conversations. But when it comes down to actual budgets and strategies, I'm not involved in that. I do know we spend a lot. I am involved in the financial conversations. Don't know if that's something Alex would want me to divulge, but it's a lot. So we're pretty aggressive on that side. And that being said, for even Life PRP, we're in a phase where we're spending all of the money that comes in on marketing. Whether we're setting up at A4M, paid ads, outreach, it's all marketing now. It's all marketing spend. So I think that's another thing. When you're starting your med spa or business, plan to have a cushion, like have something else that's funding your life so that you can keep the money in the business and learn marketing and sales so you can keep your money in the business and keep it generating more for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this woman because she knows what she is talking about. Yes. Yeah. I talk about that a lot. I talk about reinvesting a lot. I talk about marketing. Continuous marketing, sales. I mean, retention is obviously huge too. But yes. Don't treat your business as a lifestyle ATM, right? Mm-hmm. It's a quick way. To failure. What do you interact in any other way besides? You're in a mastermind. Do you do any? You're a part of the mastermind as well, correct?
I attend the mastermind when they have events here in Dallas. I actually, thinking out loud and sharing probably too soon, my business coach would probably tell me I was crazy for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway, because why not? I have had a lot of women come to me recently that are in a similar position. They're in their 40s. They're wanting to create financial stability. They either have a business or a passion and they want to bring it together. For example, I spent a few hours with new friend of mine. She's a cardiologist. We went on a nice hike and, she's wanting to get a podcast launched and do some really cool things. She's got this big vision, but she's like, I don't even know where to start, So I have explored starting a high achieving women's mastermind group, which would be very small, very intimate setting, but women who are wanting to go to the next level in their leadership or their business or bridging business and passion together, and providing, yes, an ecosystem, some sort of community support, but also just guidance. I think guidance from a female, when you're a female, trying to manage what it means to be a wife, a mom, a business owner, a leader, time for yourself, all that stuff. It's something that you really have to learn a lot. I realize now, the more I'm around women that are doing similar things to me, that a lot of women don't have the support that they need. So I'm kind of considering doing that. I keep getting told, you should coach these, conversations I have with women. That's what they tell me. But so I might do that. Soon. We'll see.
Do it.
Stay tuned.
Do it. To segue into, we'll drop all your contact information here at the end. Let's get into some fun questions.
Okay.
So we talked a lot about business, personal development, sales, marketing, aesthetics, scaling. Let's talk about some crazy stuff, okay? Because I don't know if you've seen any other episodes. I like to ask some fun questions. So, let's talk about what is your favorite luxury brand?
I really love Cartier. I've probably spent the most there. But I'm not a big fan of having a ton of different luxury items, just a few key pieces that I wear often.
Cool. What is your guilty fast food, trash food that you resort to sometimes? Let's be honest with each other.
Okay. It's not fast food, though. I love donuts. I could eat donuts all the time. I'm not allowed to say that one. Oh, goodness. What else?
No, you're good. You're good. No,
cinnamon
I was
rolls.
saying
I really like cinnamon rolls too. Donuts and cinnamon rolls. I mean, I will travel
Ham.
to a really good donut shop. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. We got to go back to the positives now. What is, besides, you talked about a couple mentors of yours, which is great, or a couple of iconic figures in your life. Who else in your personal life has been really instrumental in helping you grow, that you haven't paid money to?
My son,
Cool.
21, he's 21 now. So having raised a man, the woman I became over the course of his life, he's taught me a lot. And I transparently say that I don't think I was a terrible mom, but I wouldn't call myself a great mom. I was selfish and I put myself first a lot. And I kept telling myself, well, kids are resilient. He'll be fine. He's a boy. He doesn't care. Whatever story I told myself to make it okay that I was selfish. And we've done personal development courses together. So he has shared with me some of the things that has impacted him in a negative way. And also a positive way. And he's really big-hearted because after we have those conversations, he's always like, but I still think you're a really great mom. I'm like, I appreciate that. Thank you. I know you love me regardless, but, I can honor that I didn't show up for you in that time in your life the way that I needed to. So I think that was a big, he's been a huge source of my growth. I don't know if I can say I don't pay money to him because I still buy him things and he still gets money. So just not because he works for me.
What is one thing about yourself that you would like to change, that you don't like?
That I don't like is strong. I am a big proponent of growth, And so I often find things that I need to work on. One of the things that I'm currently working on is my communication style. I notice that I don't always say exactly what I'm thinking, but not because I don't want to say what I'm thinking. I just don't know how to communicate it. Or I'll communicate backward. I'll share something first that should go next. And like, it's just like kind of confusing. So I want to speak with more clarity. And I want to use better words. I don't want to say, I want to be more deliberate. So I think that my communication has a lot of areas of improvement. I'm also, I'd say if there's something I don't like, I try to be, love myself at this point in my life as much as possible. But
but self-love is also awareness towards the dark stuff, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
I can get a little bitey if somebody, if I feel like somebody else isn't taking personal responsibility, I can get pretty bitey. I jump into an attack mode pretty fast. Yeah, so.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who said? I think it was the other Amanda I interviewed today. She was like, "Well, I just what did she say? She was like, I'm just, oh man." She said something similar about growth, and she was like, "Yeah, just like, I just want to like tackle it all. I'm just hustle it all. Like it just, I'm always about growing in this." I'm like, that's just salesy political answer. I just work too hard.
Yeah.
Amanda, this has been an absolute pleasure. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you? It seems like you resonate a lot with other female entrepreneurs in the health, wellness, and aesthetic space. If people want to find you to talk about PRP, or if they want to find you to just have a conversation, or if they want to inquire about your mastermind, it's coming up here in a few months. Drop all the information below so people can connect with you.
Okay, so Instagram is Amanda May Beauty Boss. Amanda May Beauty is kind of an older Instagram that had service stuff that I was doing at the time. So it's still live, but you'll see that there. AmandaMayBeauty.com is my website. That's, a great place to go. Right now I'm having that redone, so that's all getting updated. It hasn't been done since before I had the baby, so it's got some refreshing to have happen. But you can get a lot of links to different avenues to connect with me on there. And I'm kind of an open book. So honestly, I'm happy if you give people my email and phone number. You can put my contacts in there. Interesting enough, I tell people all the time, like I post, I think you can find my contact information on the World Wide Web anyway. But people are like, why do you have your phone number on Facebook? I'm like, because nobody ever calls me anyway. So, if somebody really wants to connect with me, they should be able to. So, yeah. Anyway, AmandaMayBeauty.com is my website. That's a very, broad way to find all the things that I just talked about.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved it, and I want to say I really admired your post recently about going back home and visiting your aunt and disconnecting from the world. I can really appreciate that. That's what I like to do as well, to reset. So I loved listening to that and what came across about just being connected with nature and your family and things that matter the most in your surroundings, and allowing yourself that space to just enjoy being you and appreciating the people that have been there to create magical experiences throughout your lifetime.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much.